Hello everyone and welcome to beautiful Lenn Park for this episode of the Recreation Rundown. My name is Jonathan Krawchuk and joining me as always is Program and Facilities Supervisor, right?
Very good.
Tabitha Riley. You know, Tabitha, with all these that we've done, you figured it'd be like, you know.
Second nature by now?
You would think, but still, I just don't want to mess it up.
Oh, I appreciate it. So,
First off, it is great to see you once again.
Same.
And I tell you what's even better is that we get to do it out here at beautiful Lenn Park.
Oh, I know. It's a beautiful day for it.
It is. I mean, the creek, Mountain Run is babbling behind us.
Mm-hmm.
There are children playing at the playground in the
Exactly.
distance. I love this. This
Exactly
is
what a park is supposed to be.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. So, Tabitha, as we do on the show, we want to check in and see how things are going. We want to learn about what's going on, and we want to figure out what's coming down the pipeline.
Yep.
So last we talked, we were talking about a couple of events coming up, but we want to know, one of the big events you just had was the Wicked Bottom 5K.
Correct.
So how did it go?
For the weather, it went really well. So if everybody remembers, the first week of May was kind of cold, kind of rainy, very rainy. But thankfully, the weather gods blessed us, and about 6:30 a.m. on Saturday, May 7th, the rain stopped, and it cleared. I don't know that it cleared up, but the rain stopped.
That's all that really matters, right?
Registration was open. The 5K, we did the kids' half mile at 8 o'clock. They ran dry. Kids had a great time. 5K started at 8:30. We had about 250 runners and walkers. And everybody finished. It stayed dry till after we were cleaned up, and then it rained again that afternoon. I couldn't have been happier.
Somebody was looking out for you.
Somebody was, and I'm very, very grateful.
Now, again, I'm assuming there's some recap stuff. If folks want to see some that went on, they can log on to Facebook, log on to the website.
We're still working on getting some of the photos uploaded to Facebook. We had a great volunteer, Royce, who came out and did some photography and drone footage for us, which is a first this year. I've watched some of it, and it's really cool. I know we're getting a little late behind the thing, but technical issues with getting stuff downloaded and whatnot, and honestly, time.
Well,
because there's so much going on.
Exactly. I'll be honest with you. I know because, you know, doing prep for the show and looking at, I have the alerts that come through Culpeper County Parks and Recreation, and I always, I'm checking Facebook, looking on the website, and I'm amazed at all the stuff that is going on. I mean, we're sitting here in Lenn Park. The weather is absolutely beautiful. Summertime is here. I mean, not officially because, you know, the whole date and everything, but summer activities and summer is here.
Right.
And you guys are just going crazy.
It's
right
hopping.
now.
It's hopping.
Yeah. So with that, you have to run down some of the stuff that you have coming up.
Right. So it is great weather, and summer is, we're going to say summer's here. It's after Memorial Day.
It is.
So
it is.
What is it? Astrologically, it's not quite here, but as far as the calendar, summer's here. We've got swim lessons.
Important part for the summer?
Absolutely. We're partnering with the Culpepper Recreation Club, and we're offering lessons for ages 6 months all the way through to adults. So we've got an infant toddler class for ages 6 months to 3 years. We've got preschool classes for 3 to 5 year olds. Then we have level 1, 2, and 3 for ages 6 and up. And then we've got level 1 classes for teens and adults, because not all teenagers want to take a class with a 6-year-old, because they're babies and they're
teenagers.
Exactly.
They're babies and they're teenagers.
Exactly. So we offer a separate teen adult class just for comfort level. The exact same stuff is taught. It's just some teens like to be with older people. Adults don't necessarily want to take a class with a 6-year-old. I completely get it. I'm however old I am, and
adult.
I'm an adult. I can keep my head above water, but doesn't necessarily mean I want to be shown up by a 6-year-old that can outswim me.
Yeah.
So, but
makes sense.
yeah, so we've got that going on. Our Kaleidoscope Art Camp is coming up. So that is for 6 to 8 year olds and 9 to 12 year olds. They meet an hour and a half every day, Monday through Friday. Different medium of art, so it introduces them to different styles of art all 5 days. At the end of on Friday, there's an art show. So the kids get to display all their stuff and parents get to come and see everything they created. So that's a great program. Our intro to piano classes we are continuing. Those are free classes thanks to the funds raised from the Vince Valla Culpepper Palooza concert series, thankfully.
Yeah, I was floored when I was at that event. They had made mention that they were approaching $15,000 in monies raised, and that's before they took care of everything. But those numbers are up astronomically,
Yes.
from before, and I love the fact. Again, we've talked about partnerships countless times on the
Right.
program. That partnership is going to allow musical education
Correct.
for a lot of individuals.
Well, and right now, this summer, we're doing 4 piano classes for free, different age groups, from 6 years old all the way up to adults. We've actually got people signed up for our adult class, which is awesome. The only stipulation for this summer is you have to be able to bring your own keyboard.
Okay.
With the fall, though, thanks to the funds raised by Culpepper Palooza, we're going to be purchasing keyboards. So, and we'll offer the classes for free.
Wow, that's making a difference very quickly.
Very quickly. Right now, we don't have the storage space, but we will, once the field house is open, we're going to have the storage space to be able to store the keyboards, to be able to offer the lessons. So everything's just kind of coming together at the right time.
It's amazing how everything is just working out perfectly.
Yes. A couple of our other classes we've got coming up. We've got a basic hula class. It's a 1-day workshop. Come out, pretend you're in Hawaii and learn some fun hula. It's fun to do, but it's also a great exercise.
Are grass skirts provided?
You can bring your own.
Okay, perfect.
So grass skirts, tutu, whatever makes you happy.
How did you know?
We are also partnering with Friends of the Rappahannock. They're doing a family kayaking, all equipment provided. So you don't have to have your own kayak. They provide everything, kayak, paddle, life jackets. We have a free dance and play program coming up thanks to and y'all have to put this on the bottom of the screen again, the Virginia Agency on Healthy Youth.
There it is.
Exactly. Also, Culpepper Wellness Foundation. It's a grant that is funding these programs for us. New one. We've got a drum circle program coming up. Local artisan is going to be doing a drum circle in Mountain Run Lake Park. Come out, learn what a drum circle is, practice some hand drumming. Just a really neat introduction to a different culture and different activity. We've got a couple homeschool classes, the art of jazz. You'll learn about jazz musicians and also make your own album cover. Beginners tennis is always a great program. We're working with Battlefield Tennis on that one. Ages 6 to 10 is doing really well. The 11 and up, we do still have some space in.
Okay.
So, and it's either you've never played before or you've played a little bit, but you want to refine your skills.
I am aware of the sport of tennis.
Perfect class for
There's
you.
a class. Okay, great. Perfect.
That's what this class is for.
All right.
It's got a racket and it's got a ball and it's got a court. That's about my knowledge.
Okay. All right.
So that's where my knowledge ends. Father's Day bracelets.
You don't say.
Yes. It's a great program. A little different, but dad and daughter come out, make some bracelets, and you've got a great Father's Day activity.
I think that's a great idea.
Time for Toddlers, also with Friends of the Rappahannock. It's a nature story and games. It's a 45-minute program, and it's $8.
That's a good deal.
Right. And those are bounced around at different parks. And these are all just June programs. This isn't the whole summer.
Wait, this is just June?
This is just June. I didn't even print the list for July or August.
I think that may have been a good idea.
Right. We've got Samantha Whitesides is actually going to be teaching a string art vase with fresh flowers. So you're going to take like a wooden
Frame?
board
Okay.
and put nails in it in the shape
Oh,
of a
okay.
vase that you want. You'll do your string art to decorate it however, and then
Yeah.
put fresh flowers in it. So, but yeah, so this is just June programs. This isn't July or August. And Samantha and I are working on fall programs already and getting that ready for print.
It doesn't stop.
No.
So Really, the rundown of these programs, it's amazing what you have just for the month of June. It's unbelievable. But there is also more going on all the time.
Correct.
I want to make sure that if I have the most updated information, I briefly mentioned it before, culpepperrecreation.com.
Correct.
Culpepper Parks and Recreation, you can find them on Facebook. Your number is 727-3412, extension 5.
Yes.
I'm not going to forget that. But there really is, and I mentioned it earlier, one of the neat things that I really like is the ability when you sign up, you can get alerts about when things come up.
Right.
And I think that's a great opportunity and a valuable resource because, you know, folks may hear about, you know, the drawing and painting classes coming up from the ages 6 to 10 and 11 and up. And they're like, oh, well, that's not till, you know, the end of the month. I don't want to forget. They sign up and they get those reminders as it comes along. I think it's a phenomenal idea. And I think a lot of people need to take care of that.
Well, and with our software, you set up your account. I send out monthly, bi-monthly reminders. I don't do it a lot because I don't like to get spam, so I don't send a whole lot out. I try to recap of what's coming up, but you can also go in and look at our list of programs and add stuff to your wish list. So these are the ones I want to register for, but maybe not quite yet. I got to double check my schedule, but it makes it easier for when you come back and log in. They're already right there. All you got to do is add to your cart.
It's a great service that you guys provide to the Culpepper community. Now, Tabitha, we still have a few things I want to cover, but there is an event coming up and an organization that I want to learn more about. So if you don't mind, if you want to go play with the kids on the playground, I'm going to have a discussion real quick.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll be right back in just a minute for more on the Recreation Rundown. Well, continuing on this episode of the Recreation Rundown, we have our special guest today. And joining us in Lenn Park is Joe Rivera, one of the directors of the Culpepper Amateur Radio Association, otherwise known as CARA. Joe, how are you today?
Hi, great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I love the fact that we're outside, and I love the fact we have an opportunity to talk about, you know, when people say parks and recreation, recreation encompasses a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And when it comes to ham radio, it's one of those things that's been around for so long and people enjoy so much that people, when they hear about it, they instantly want to learn more.
Okay, great.
So I'm curious, CARA or Culpepper Amateur Radio Association, do me a favor, give us an overview of who you are and what you do.
Okay, we're a group of people that's currently about 65 folks. I'm one of the directors. Our president is Jeff Shiflett. He's actually one of the pastors out at Madison. So, you know, amateur radio people, everything from farmers to EMTs to teachers to pastors to rock stars, astronauts, you know, preppers, aid workers and hobbyists. It's a little bit of everything. It's kind of a lot, you know, big, kind of a crazy lot. Ham radio people consist of a group of about 170,000 people in the U.S. For years, we've been very pleased to work with Tabitha Riley and Culpepper Parks and Rec. In fact, we have a great relationship together. We provide communication support during like Girls on the Run, the Wicked Bottom Run. We provide lots of comm support for different people.
Well, you bring up a good point because, you know, unfortunately, people sometimes, when ham radio comes to mind, they think of somebody sitting in their hobby room. But in this case, when we're talking about doing, I guess, support for large events, I want to dive. I'm very curious about how does that work? What do you do for those events?
Well, like for example, on the different runs, we set about 6 or 7 people strategically along the trail, make sure nobody trips, gets hurt, gets cut up, or needs emergency services, or needs any kind of, if it's a bicycle race, if they get a flat or stuff like that. A lot of times it's just way more than what the Parks and Rec or the various municipalities like the police or ambulance can take care of. So we provide auxiliary communication support, and we can help get information out and get help or emergency support very quickly to the people that may need it. And it's a lot of fun. We enjoy doing it.
In the program that we've talked about a number of times, we talked about those relationships and partnerships that Culpeper County Parks and Rec has with other organizations. In fact, you mentioned that as well. You've been working with Parks and Rec for a long time. I really like how the community comes together to work to educate folks, to make sure people are safe in this case. How long have you guys been working with Parks and Rec? How long have you been an organization?
The organization's been around for probably 30, 40 years. It has grown and shrunk and varied along with everything else in life. But like I said, right now we have about 65 members. Not everybody's from the Culpepper area. Like for example, I live at Lake Anna. Some people live in Madison. There's pretty much this whole area. And the reason I chose Culpepper or CARA is because it's got a repeater on top of a mountain and gives us tremendous coverage. And you can go from Fredericksburg to almost Arlington to, like I said, the lake. It covers down 66 quite a bit. So it's got tremendous range.
Now, one of the things we were talking about before we sat down was, in fact, I'm going to back up. What is the appeal of ham radio for persons like yourself? We were talking about it a little bit before, and you mentioned the reach. What drives you to work in ham radio?
Well, I mean, I've personally been interested in radio since the 70s. I used to fix them before I joined the military, then spent, that's how I paid for college, and then spent 21 years in the Air Force, and then another 18 years as an IT consultant. So I kind of left it behind for a while. And after I retired, I said, you know what, I want to get back into this. But it's a means of communications. Like I said, human beings are social creatures by nature, and gives us a chance to talk to folks all over the world. And people say, well, why ham? There's internet and there's cell phones. But time and time again, it's been proven that during a natural disaster, a hurricane, typhoon, a war, that infrastructure breaks. And it's purposely a lot of times broken, especially during wars. But ham radio always works.
Yeah.
During the events that happened in Puerto Rico, the hurricanes and stuff, it was ham radio that helped get aid. When Katrina hit, it was ham radio that helped all the communications infrastructure was torn up because of the hurricane. So it was ham radio that allowed people to communicate. So it's part of it's wanting to help each other, and at the same time wanting to talk and make the world smaller by being able to communicate with other countries and stuff, and on a friendly, informal, non-political, non-biased nature.
There's ham radio has been in movies and shows. It's been around for ages, as you talked about. And one of the things that I've always found neat is atmospheric conditions can influence the reach of the radio.
Yes.
That is an accurate statement,
yes.
Right? Okay, thank goodness. I was just making sure of that. So when you mentioned making the world smaller, tell me a little bit about some of the individuals you've spoken with, the reach that you've had. What's the farthest you've ever spoken?
The way my antenna is oriented, it's mostly north-south. So
okay. I've
gone down as far as Costa Rica and as high up as the UK and Nova Scotia and Canada and that area, and pretty much all over the United States. I need to put up another antenna that allows me to go east-west a little bit better. Some people have an omnidirectional that goes everywhere. Amateur radio could be everything from this very expensive beam that looks like something out of Star Wars to an antenna wire that you hung between trees like I have.
Oh, really?
So you can either make it very simple. It's called amateur radio. So you can make it very simple and make it very complex.
So if folks are interested in learning more about ham radio and who CARA is and what you do, you mentioned being amateur. How does one get into it?
Well, you can join or you can call us. I happen to be the newcomer orientation or the person that's in charge of people trying to join CARA. But if you want to join ham radio, there's practice tests online. There's all kind of books available, even on Amazon. And they even they want to make it easier for you. In the old days, you used to have to learn to Morse code. That was a big deterrent for me. I didn't want to necessarily learn that.
I know SOS.
Yeah. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. But there's sample tests online that you can just download, and the actual test comes from those sample tests. So, and then as a club, each club kind of has a testing session, usually once a month. We have ours once a month. And you can come by and take the test. It's graded by volunteers. If you pass, we submit the information to the FCC, and then they issue the licenses out to people. And there's 3 different levels. One is technician class, which gives you the 2-meter or the kind of like the CB radio type of radio that gives you about 35 miles range. The next level is the general that gives you the short wave that you can talk around the world. And then the other one is extra, which kind of gives you a few more frequencies, but not a whole lot more. But like I said, it's really not that hard. And you don't necessarily have to be a technically oriented person to learn it. My wife's a retired school teacher. And just to prove to me that she could do it, she went and took the technician test and passed it. And trust me, she is not a technical person. But you know, and what drove us to learn to it is we have an RV and like to go camping. I don't know if you read in the news the other day where there was an elderly couple, I think it was in Nevada somewhere, that they got stuck in a off the beaten path kind of thing.
Okay.
And the gentleman passed away. The wife survived, but there was nothing wrong. They got stuck, and because it was such a rural area, they were out of cell phone range and couldn't have communicated. With ham radio, they could have. You know, so that was kind of one of the emphasis for have my wife both and I join amateur radio and start playing with that, because it's not as hard as people think, and it's got tremendous coverage and it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned the fact that working disaster preparation, also lending support for real-time help at events in the community. And, it's one of those things. It seems, the first thing I thought of when I first heard about ham was that, what you see in the movies, when everything goes down, ham still works.
It always works.
But then once you get into it, it's more. It has a more personal appeal, and it has, as you mentioned, making the world smaller. And there is something amazing about, hopping on one night, talking to some gentleman in Costa Rica.
Yep.
It's one of those wonderful things, is bringing people together while at the same time possibly saving lives.
Right. Absolutely. And it's not always, you can't always get the world coverage. It depends a lot on, you talk about atmospherics. At different frequencies react differently. At the VHF, it's line of sight, or about 35 miles range. But in the HF radio, or the ham radio, the HF frequencies, it bounces off the ionosphere. So if the sunspots are just right, it charges up the ionosphere and the signals will bounce, and you can go thousands of miles on relatively little power.
That's incredible. Sorry, that just blows my mind. It's really neat. So, I mean, obviously we're learning a lot about ham radio and the Culpepper Amateur Radio Association, but you guys, you mentioned you do testing every month. I think your next one is June 7th, I believe.
That's right.
But there is an opportunity for folks to come out and talk with you and learn, and you have a really big day coming up.
Yes, it's a field day. It's hosted by the Amateur Radio Relay League. It's a large organization that's worldwide. And it's been occurring since June of 1933.
33?
So this year, it's courtesy of Tabitha. It's going to be working here at Lenn Park. And we're going to set up a bunch of radios and stuff, and people are going to be practicing talking to other people, mostly in the United States and Canada. But like I said, Field Day is a combination of picnic, open house, camp out, practice for emergencies. It's also fun and informal contest where we get to practice many of the aspects of ham radio. And like I said, bring up camaraderie and just have a good time. We even have a station called GOTA, or Get on the Air, where a person who is not licensed can come by and with supervision practice getting on the radio, trying to call somebody. Hopefully they'll catch the bug. But we strongly encourage everybody to come by the weekend of the 25th and 26th and watch us do our field day. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. Come by, have a hamburger, or hot dog, or have a cup of coffee with us. We'll be looking forward to seeing you.
Joe, you know just what to say. So again, that's June 25th and 26th, right here at Lenn Park.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I haven't mentioned, but it's been on the screen, is your website, w4cul.org.
Yes.
There is a lot of information, and I do also want to state that if someone is interested in learning more information, that's the place to go. If they're looking to become a member, there's forms available. There really is a lot of information.
Yeah,
on
there's
your
a lot of
website.
stuff on the web. I mean, it's not something that people are trying to be. There's a lot of, in the old days in the CB radio, you didn't need a license. You can just grab a radio and start talking. This adds a little bit of legitimacy. The tests have a little bit of technician, a little bit of FCC rules, a little bit of radio theory, but not a lot. Just enough to get you dangerous. But again, it's a lot of fun. And if you're interested in joining, I happen to be the membership chair. Give me a call at 703-405-5945, or come visit us on Field Day. You'll have a lot of fun and meet some interesting people.
Hey, Joe, I tell you what, I have met an interesting person today, and I know Field Day, 25th and 26th, is going to be a great opportunity to learn more.
Super.
Joe, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. I'm really pumped.
Still more to come on this episode of the Recreation Rundown. Well, welcome back not only to you, but also to Tabitha Riley, Program and Facility Supervisor for Culpeper County Parks and Recreation. Boom.
Yes.
Just rolled off the tongue that time.
Just rolled right off. Awesome.
So it was great to learn more about ham radio and CARA with Joe.
Oh, they're a great organization.
He's just a fantastic guy. And I found out after we finished the interview, he was a retired colonel with the Air Force.
Yes.
Man, it's amazing the people you meet when you work
yeah.
with Culpeper County Parks and Rec. So we talked about CARA's work with some of the events that you guys put on.
They make my life so much easier. I
Really?
just absolutely love them.
They are, I mean, just sitting here having this quick conversation, it's amazing all the work they do and all, you know, the reach that they have.
Well, they helped us at the Wicked Bottom.
Yeah.
They came out, figured it was going to be raining on them, and we still had, I believe it was 10 of them showed up to help me out. So CARA is our course marshals. They are stationed at different spots throughout the 5K course. One, to help direct runners in which way to go, run that way. Two, they are constantly monitoring, okay, your first runner's past this spot, your first runner's past this spot, your last runner is past the water station. I know exactly where all my people are on the course the entire time, thanks to CARA.
Wow.
They also do it for our Culpepper Cycling Century. So they station themselves at our rest stops and help with communication. So first runner shows up at a rest stop, I'm like, okay, our runners are at least at mile 24. They're at least at mile 50. If anybody needs assistance, they're helping to call in and say, hey, we need a support vehicle out here at this rest stop because this person needs help. They've got a flat tire. They want to just have a ride back to the finish line. They're just absolutely amazing. The stress load they take off my life is tremendous.
Well, you know, it's amazing. We've talked numerous times about partnerships, and we're never going to stop.
Oh, no.
Because that is one of the ways in which your organization thrives.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're talking about CARA, and here they are. They're providing a valuable service to help your event run smoothly. And at the same time, they're gathering training and working on things for themselves. They're getting real-world experience.
Exactly.
While also helping out your event.
Right.
And it's I mean, and here we are talking about CARA. And early in the program, we talked about, I believe, let me make sure my notes, we talked about partnering with the Rec Club, partnering with Friends of the Rappahannock on multiple events.
Yes.
Also with Battlefield Tennis as well.
Correct.
And it's these partnerships that we've made mention time and time again, which allow Culpeper Parks and Rec to be, well, the amazing service they are to the community.
I just had to, we're working on our upcoming budget and just had to count all the partnerships from last fiscal year. We were at over 60.
Good Lord.
Just for the 1 year.
Goodness gracious.
So between CARA and the Rec Club and Battlefield Tennis, the Eastern View FFA Club, because they maintain our Purple Martin colony at the Culpepper Sports Complex. And then just all the other plethora of organizations that assist us with different aspects of Parks and Recreation. It's just amazing.
All right, so as we look to the future, I know we have more partnerships down coming down the pipeline, but we also have more events coming up.
Correct.
Tell me about what's coming down the line.
So we've got 2 events definitely on tap for Parks and Rec that we are hosting. So I already mentioned the Culpepper Cycling Century. So Saturday, October 1st is going to be our 15th annual Culpepper Cycling Century and Tour. So 15 years we've been, well, 14 years. The first year was done by volunteers. We took it over year 2. And those volunteers are still helping out. So it's a great program or a great event. It is a benefit bicycle ride. They have the choice of I'm tweaking the courses, so it is a 30-ish is the key word there, mile course, a 60-ish mile course, and then a 100-mile course.
Okay.
So depending on how much time you have during the day for that particular day and what your skill level is. Depends on what course you do. Right now, if you register before July 1st, you save $20 off the day of registration fee. Event t-shirts are guaranteed before Labor Day. We've got food trucks will be on site. Lunch is included for the 60 and the 100-mile courses. But 35-mile course, or 30-ish mile course, let me correct that. Food trucks are there available for purchase, so it's a great event. CARA is going to be helping us. Eastern View FFA is running one of the rest stops. We've got Eastern View FCCLA Club is running a rest stop, and then CCHS and CMS FFA Club is running our 3rd rest stop. So the high school kids are
There's a lot of moving parts in this event.
The bicycle ride is definitely one of the more logistically challenging events we do.
I love the way you say logistically challenging.
It definitely, like you said, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
But it's a fabulous event. Last year, all the proceeds go to the Culpepper Recreation Foundation, which benefits building additional recreational amenities, mainly at the Culpepper Sports Complex, but throughout the county. They've helped build both of the concession stands. They assisted with the Bright Spot Playground. They assisted with the new playground that was installed over by football soccer. They put in all the outfield fencing, the scoreboards.
I mean, the work that they do is, well, it's very visual and
Correct.
very there. There's quite a bit of it.
Right. And now they're working on fundraising for the field house. So they're constantly doing stuff.
So with the Culpeper Cycling Century, we want to remind everybody that if we want to sign up, please do so as soon as humanly possible.
If you want to save money, go ahead and do it now. You
Okay.
get your shirt and you save money.
All right.
We will take registrations all the way up through the day of the event. After Labor Day, though, there is no event T-shirts. You only get a shirt if you register before Labor Day. Our other event that is definitely going to happen is our Moonlight Halloween Candy Hunt.
Well, all right.
So we're already thinking about Halloween.
Scheduling ahead. I love it.
Scheduling ahead. Friday, October 21st, I believe. It's the Friday before Halloween. That way, in case we get rained out, which did happen last year, unfortunately, we've got another week to have it.
Yeah.
So I'm planning a little better this year.
So real quick, before we start tailing things off on this episode, we talked about it before. I want to bring it back again. The ease and availability and, well, the facilities available for rent.
So Lenn Park is a great facility. I'm going to focus for this conversation here since we're here.
I like that.
It is an 80-acre park. So we've got 2 adult softball fields. Can be used for some youth, but we do have an adult softball league out here. They do have first priority. We have our picnic pavilion. So pavilion, shelter. So Mountain Run and Spillman have shelters, which is a roof on a concrete platform. Pavilion has an indoor space. So Lenn Park has a pavilion, has the outdoor shelter portion, but also an indoor activity room, heat and air conditioning, which is fabulous right now. There's also a warming kitchen in there. So refrigerator, microwave, coffee pot, and counter space. There is no stove, so you can't cook there, but perfect for crock pots, perfect for heating up casseroles, stuff like that. It's available for rent any day of the week, as long as there's not already something scheduled. 30 days advance notice minimum, up to a year in advance. You can rent either a full day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is, I believe, let me check my cheat sheet here, $210 for a full day for a county resident on the weekend, or you can do a half day, which is 8 a.m. to 1:30, or 2:30 to 8, which is $130. That hour break is when our staff comes in and makes sure the building is reset and ready for the next rental. We also, not available for rent, but we've got 2 playgrounds here, and Mountain Run Creek is behind us, catch and release fishing. The Culpepper Model Barnstormers have an airfield out here, and then all the way in the back of the park we have the Scout Campground, which is available for use by Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. It has to be an organized group.
Okay.
It is primitive camping, but we also do not charge the organized groups.
Oh.
So if Boy Scouts need to come out and get some badges for overnight camping, Girl Scouts, Trail Life USA, American Heritage Girls, whoever, that is available for usage as well, either daytime or overnight.
You know, when we're sitting here filming, we've noticed when we first got here, there was 2 or 3 individuals with their dogs walking.
And there's a dog park.
I mean, the amenities just keep growing at
Correct.
every single facility that Culpeper Parks and Recreation has.
Yes.
I would like to say it's because of the great work you're doing and the relationship you have with the community.
It's the great work all the staff and the department is doing, and the support from the community and our Board of Supervisors.
You're darn right.
Says if the board doesn't approve the budget, we don't have any funds to actually take care of these facilities.
Mr. Deal. So Tabitha, as we get ready to close things out, something I like to make mention of every episode. You know, you talk about the work, the volunteers
Yes.
Really the heart of any organization.
Absolutely.
If folks are interested in volunteering at any of the events that are upcoming, Cycling Century, and really a litany more to come.
Correct.
Really want to ask them to reach out. And one of the things we've made mention before and want to reiterate again is the fact that if you are looking at these programs and you say to yourself, these are great programs, but I wish they had, I don't know, how to cut grass 101. You can make that recommendation.
Absolutely.
And that's 727-3412 extension 5.
Correct. And you can either speak to myself, you can speak to Samantha, you can speak to any of our staff. But we love getting ideas for new programs. We're only a couple people. We can only come up with so many ideas. You may have lived somewhere else and your rec department there had this program or that program, which we don't offer. Well, maybe because we've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So share it. Hey, I used to love taking this. Is that something y'all can do? We can definitely look into it. As long as we can find an instructor or it's something staff can do, I'm always looking for instructors.
Yeah, and that's the other side of the coin. If you are somebody who has a skill to share, or you want to teach a class.
Absolutely.
If you were a master lawn cutter and you want to teach grass cutting 101, go ahead and give Tabitha a call.
We definitely want to. And you can either volunteer. We love our volunteers. Or it is a paid position. So you're not going to make bank on it. You'll get enough money for a couple extra lattes, a couple extra cheeseburgers, whatever you'd like. But you're giving back to the community. Plus you're sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
And seeing people take your classes and how much enjoyment they get out of it is that's rewarding in and of itself.
You're absolutely correct. Now, Tabitha, as we wind things down, again, there's really so much going on, so much more to come. It really would, you really need to make a very little effort to find out how much there is going on with Culpeper County Parks and Recreation. Again, we want to point to the website, to the Facebook, to email, to phone call. But is there anything else? YouTube as well.
These are all on YouTube now. So
that's right. I feel like I should say click the link in the corner.
There you go.
Well, again, Tabitha, I want to thank you for taking the time, not only to speak with us today, but also continuing to do the great work that you guys do.
Thank you. It's a team effort. It's a group effort.
I'll put in a good word for you to Andrew, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that. He's so difficult to work with.
He is the worst.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, we thank you for joining us at beautiful Lenn Park for this episode of the Recreation Rundown. Again, use the information that you've seen on your screen that we've talked about throughout the program to learn more all about what Culpeper County Parks and Recreation has to offer our community. Be a part of something special. Live here, play here. Folks, until we see you at Lenn Park or one of the other beautiful facilities around Culpeper County, you have yourselves a great day and, of course, a better tomorrow.